Well, this was quite interesting. I got about 9 minutes in this video, and then I was like, "Oh well, you know what? Hey, I gotta say something." So this is in Oregon, okay? This dude and the other gentleman in this video had an issue with an individual exposing themselves to a child, right? Which any adult anywhere who's sane should have an issue with that, right? A naked adult in front of children should be an issue, right? And I mean fully naked. You're able to see the wobbly bits and everything, right? Watch and hear what this cop in Oregon, now this is in Oregon for context, okay? And this shows how stupid and crazy the voter base of that state is, and currently and very clearly of this city, right? Because this guy tells this father and these gentlemen something that I like. One, I'm kind of not too surprised considering it's Oregon, and they have naked people walking around all the time. But just listen to how the cop says it, and then like I get the father's kind of point of view in a way, but at the same time, getting mad at an individual whose job is to uphold law, and if said law says it's okay to do something, they kind of can't really do anything unless they want to get fired. So I mean, you got to see it from a certain standpoint as well. You got to understand the irritation, but you also got to understand the irritation for certain people on the other standpoint too, which is where if you fucking live in Oregon and if you issue with this, well then guess what? Maybe you shouldn't vote liberal Democrat. Just saying.
She came walking through the yard over by my truck, took a left, came up here completely naked, besides a shirt which was like draped like this unbuttoned. Yeah. Her vagina out, everything right in front of my little kid, and I quickly covered his eyes. You know, I've never seen anything like that before.
Front door too. And it's like, whoa, headlights are on.
So that right there, right?
Oh, okay, perfect.
So that section, right? The whoa, headlights on, right? That quite literally is, oh hey, she may have a shirt on, but something be peeking through. Now, for women, that's either A, it's cold or a little nipply outside, or she be excited.
I'm gonna wait for my partner to get here.
Yeah,
So, just so you guys are aware,
And this
in Oregon,
and this right here, just wow. And I understand why the cop did it this way, because he can hear the irritation and like how like he's gonna know already what they're gonna want. So he's preemptively gonna nip it in the bud of saying, hey, by the way, what she did isn't illegal. Literally, a half naked person, because technically she was half naked, but walks up and is on your property. If someone's half naked and they're outside and they did it deliberately, something should be done. Either A, arrested and thrown in jail, or B, psych eval has to be issued.
you can walk around completely naked.
Yep.
There's no law against it as long as you're not doing it. Yes,
there's a partner.
as long as you're not doing it for your like sexual gratification or the gratification of somebody else. Like,
And this is the stupid part of the law, right? Because I totally get how for your sexual gratification that can actually be used against men, because it's very clearly easy and obvious to tell when a dude's sexually aroused. We pitch a tent, we have a boner, we have a heart on, right? For women, it's a lot harder to know when they're actually turned on, because either A, their nipples are gonna be hard, but even then, there's some women whose nipples won't get hard and or are always hard, and then there's women who are perpetually always fucking dry, but horny as fuck, and then there's women who are wet and moist as fuck and are not horny. So women just be a perplexing fucking kind of creature. See what I mean? But quite literally, that part of the law kind of is pointless. It should be if you're naked in front of somebody that is a child, and or anyone in general outside of your own home, should be indecent exposure. The fact that there's no such thing as indecent exposure in Oregon now is fucking crazy.
You can literally throw, like, we've had people throw running shoes on and, like, dudes just go jogging naked and there's no...
Yeah, you hear that? Dudes just throw running shoes on in Oregon and run with their fucking wobbly bits just bouncing all over the place. How is that not for their own sexual gratification and or you can't do nothing? That sounds perverse to me. You know what I mean? And this is coming from someone who does not mind being naked in their own home. So it just comes down to, why do you have to do that outside? Why does everyone else have to see it?
An effort to, like, look at me type thing.
And I think that's what she did. She walked straight up to us and said, with my little kid, she goes, look at my body, my bare naked vagina right in front of you.
That's what she said?
No, that's what she's doing by presenting herself to us.
No, I get it. And, like, I don't agree with it, that it's okay. I'm just telling you, in Oregon, it's not a crime to do that. Like, you can just walk around in the nude as long as you're not...
So crazy.
It's not for a sexual
For your
manner.
information, now she has a history. It wasn't but a couple less than a month ago that you guys were here.
Okay.
I need to get a record of you saying that, because when I tell my wife, she's not going to believe that. So you're
I
saying...
can show you the ORS,
But
for sure.
you're saying in the state of Oregon,
Mhm.
someone can walk up to your 2-year-old kid completely bare naked, and that's not a crime, even if it's on your property.
Correct. Well, so it's trespassing.
Trespassing, which is a lighter charge, and they don't really generally do anything for it. They will show up and ask them to leave. We'll arrest them and just like go, hey, don't do that again, and nothing happens.
Or the gratification of somebody else, yes, you are allowed to walk around in public naked.
You shouldn't be. But that's what you get when you vote certain fucking people in. They'll make stupid ass fucking laws.
This officer's saying that it's not a crime. So any of you out there that are viewing this, please check and make sure that Oregon State revised statute says that you can expose yourself to little kids. This is unbelievable. Well, I don't even know why I bother calling you guys.
Because I'm going to do what I can to help you is what I'm trying to explain. I'm explaining that the actual...
And this is where, as an officer, and if that officer's a father, because he can't give his personal opinion also, because his personal opinion is invalid because he has to be impartial as an officer. So this right now is where being a police officer is going to be very fucking weird, because if you are quite literally upholding laws that literally go against your moral compass, you should not be a fucking police officer. Like, to this police officer, I have nothing personal against him. I can see he's being fair and impartial. And the thing is, sir, I get that you know it's a job and you probably want to do this job, but you might want to look for a different job, because either A, this is going to start slowly to corrupt you, or B, it's going to turn you into a very, very evil asshole. And trust and believe me, you're not going to want that. So, if I was that officer, I would definitely not want to work for Oregon State Police at all in any city, in any context whatsoever. Because clearly Oregon State does not care about parents or caring about the actual rights of, you know, everybody. Because it definitely sees that, you know, Oregon only panders to a certain group of people and a demographic.
Again, and the next time, but apparently, if I should go take my clothes off and go walk up to little kids and show them my body, and that's not a problem in the state.
If you're doing it specifically to go show a child your naked body, yes, then there's the intent behind what you're doing.
And her walking up to us, where I'm sitting right here with my little kid, that doesn't constitute that.
Because of where you're talking about, and I'm telling you how law works on this, like that's a common area where people would approach a residence. It's not.
And that's where law is one of the stupidest things ever.
Like your mailman, somebody who's coming to your door, anybody who's visiting would walk up this way. So her walking up and approaching you, if you say, hey, I don't want you here, and leave, and she turns around and leaves, she's not broken any law because she's approaching on a public right of way. Basically like how you would approach anybody's front door, okay?
Okay, earlier
She's left when she knocked on my door.
But what I'm saying is we can still trespass her, and if she ever comes up here again...
Trespassing doesn't do anything.
Jail for trespassing.
Do it.
Right?
She won't go to jail for trespassing. They'll pick her up, they'll file the paperwork, and they will let her go.
That's something that I could enforce. I was just trying to explain to you the nudity portion of it. It's just like,
Man, that's insane.
yeah.
So, I mean,
Believe me, like we get calls for this type of stuff. Like I said, a guy running down North End of 3rd Street, butt naked with running shoes. That's not a crime.
Approaching children, though?
Again, there would have to be the intent. Like if it's like, I jump the fence at a school and I walk up to a playground full of kids naked, not okay. That's not going to be allowed.
Well,
But somebody approaching the front of your house and there's a child outside, when they do that and they leave when they're told,
That should also not be okay.
I don't know if it's the laws that we have here, or if it's you guys not.
It's the laws.
Do something
It's
about
the
it.
laws that we have
As far
here.
as I'm concerned, you guys.
And this dad, he's gonna get a little ridiculous. It's literally the laws. You can't blame police officers for upholding the laws that are quite literally in the state. You know what I mean? So you have to blame not them. You have to blame your local leadership. You have to blame your governor. You have to blame your mayor. You have to blame your city council. You have to blame those people. They're the ones who are voting for all that stupid crap. You cannot sit there and blame a police officer for sitting there upholding a law and doing what it is that they're told, because if not, they don't get paid. Case in point, you go to work. Your boss asks you to do X, Y, and Z. You tell them to basically go fuck off. What do you think is going to happen? Are you going to continue to be able to work that day? Or are you going to go home for disciplinary? And then if you keep being a disciplinary issue, do you think you're going to continue to be able to work and make money? No. Hence on why the police officer is trying to get this father to understand there's really nothing he can do about the nudity portion. But the trespassing, which is where he's trying to emphasize the trespassing to at least get something done. But once again, trespassing is a lesser charge, and they will literally just book her, arraign her, and let her go. That's it. They're just going to get her in there, file all the paperwork, tell her don't do that again, it's very bad, and then she's free. That's literally all it is. Any and all trespassing charges. They don't sit there in jail for too long, unless maybe it's a weekend. But half the time, they will literally, depending on your state and your city, will just let them go. Because they don't want to deal with the paperwork, and they're too backlogged with all the other bullshit because no one wants to work for the government no more.
Fully fucking useless pigs.
But yeah.
It's ridiculous. Okay, you can go ahead and trespass.
You-
That's insane.
The officer, okay. After that, he's like, okay, well, I'm pretty much done with this conversation. But yeah, like, apparently it is completely and totally legal for you to be naked in Oregon, and nothing will be done about it unless literally you're just doing it for your own sexual gratification. But the question is, how is it you know they are or aren't doing it for their sexual gratification? Because, I mean, there is the clear and obvious one, but if someone knows state law and state statute, which you'll be amazed on the amount of criminals who do study and read up on what state law and state statutes are. That way, they can further fuck with the cops or bend the rules as much as possible. So, the people of Oregon definitely need to do something about their laws, or, if anything, leave. Now, granted, that is a lot harder than changing your laws in your state. So, if you're a conservative, Republican, whatever, and you want stuff like that to change, maybe you should start fighting back. And I don't mean physically, I mean in the voter box. You got to go there and actually vote. You got to educate your children on, the actual reasons on why we vote and why every voice matters. Okay? Because when you have a certain group who want certain things to change, but they don't want to speak up and say anything about it, they don't really have the right to complain if they are not going to actually join the vote and make their voices heard. So, like, share, subscribe. I just wanted to spread the word on that, because when I heard that cop say, yeah, it's totally legal to be naked in Oregon and there's really nothing any police officer can do about it, it's like, what? So you literally can have people walking around grocery stores, public areas, and everything else butt naked, and nothing can be done about it. What the fuck? It blew my mind. Oh my god. I feel old now. But that's it for the video. I hope you found this somewhat entertaining. Like, share, subscribe. Later, guys. Stay free, America. Love you.